Harrison Price from the historic Wall Center. We're joined
Guerrilla
now by
marketing
Patrick
here.
Johnston of the Province and Postmedia, columnist, author of the new book, Gino.
Oh, does he have a new book?
Yeah, he's got a new book, and he's between one fern.
That's not a fern.
That's not a fern?
Well,
No.
there's ferns outside, but there's no. This is a. I don't even know what this is.
The
This is a
ficus?
beautiful-
The ficus benjamina, I think.
I'll put myself on ease and O's, not a fern. Blake used to work at a garden center. I'm very surprised he's not able to identify the genus.
It's a palm or a ficus. One of
it's
the
a
two.
ficus. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Between two or one ficus. Fic guy?
I'm impressed.
Anyways, he
This
had the big
ficus guy,
story.
honestly.
He had the big story this week. A Vancouver Canuck executive uttered the word rebuild for the first time since, I think, Trevor Linden.
It was at the floor under his breath.
And as I called Patrick last night because I was like, Patrick, you may remember Trevor Linden finally got the monkey off the gorilla off his back. He uttered the word rebuild. They went out, they traded Alex Burrows, they traded Yannick Hansen. Everybody thought the rebuild was on. And then in July of 2018, suddenly he was out. And we learned that, he wanted to rebuild, but Francesco didn't. And Benning said, okay, I'll be your guy. So my big question is, did Rutherford say rebuild? And it was a qualified rebuild.
Yeah.
But did Rutherford say rebuild with the blessing of ownership?
Well, I mean, listen, he made it clear, and I sort of nodded at this the other day just from talking to people about this, and then he actually went and said it. Like, the focus is on getting young players. So, what is that? Is that a rebuild? Like, to me, and I wrote a column about this even before all this, saying whatever the word is doesn't matter. Like, I get why we want to say the word, but fundamentally, the task at hand is that they have to build a better team than they have. And if they really want to make it a good team, they got to get younger players. And so it was kind of funny to have him bring it up just unannounced. Like, I did not say, what are you calling this? Anything like that.
Yeah.
He said, the fact is of the matter, whatever you want to call it, we need younger players.
Well, here's the thing, though, Patrick, and I just might be slow to this because I just I can't believe until
I get it.
But Blake has been telling me the last 2 days that what Jim Rutherford said effectively means they are punting on this season. And I can't believe that for two reasons. Number one, punting on this season is effectively punting on Quinn Hughes. And number two, how in the world would ownership greenlight punting on this season in late November when you have so many home games and tickets to sell the rest of the way?
And
my brain cannot process that after watching nearly 2 decades of this franchise and this ownership.
Yeah. And I think punting on the season to means to me bringing in a bunch of 19-year-olds who aren't ready to play. The task clearly is they want guys who are either sort of on the verge of being in the NHL or close to it, and guys that they can start integrating into the lineup. The recognition is that this is a team that needs to look to the future. They want to build a squad that will be together for several whatever number of years to come. And that's the story that's being sold. Some of this is a little bit of, I think, a reflection of what hasn't been there. I mean, what is the story for this season really in terms of a marketing sense has been, I don't know. I mean, we know from a hockey sense, the idea has been, well, and as Rutherford said, listen, we thought we were going to be in a playoff team. And we had some injuries and things have changed, and circumstances fundamentally have been different since we had to move on from JT Miller. That the team that they had, and I've said this, the team that they had, a year and a half ago, coming out of the very fun 2024 playoff run, the thing that everyone wants to be clear, if this pops up on some random Canucks social media feed, let's be clear, we all want to see the team win. Losing sucks. And that's what they want to get back to. But the truth is they don't have the team that they were building does not exist anymore. And that was what Rutherford made clear to me. And I mean, listen, he spelled it out, but if we all watch it and we can all see where things are at. The moment that things started to fail last year, the moment they moved on from JT Miller, this team was going in a new direction. And I don't know why they weren't clearer about that. I mean, they did have this dream of getting a second line center, yada, 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 and sort of reshaping, I guess, what they had. But here we are. And we'll see where they go. We'll see what actually happens. I mean, he's not wrong. The four guys that are on pending UFA, so Kane, Bluger, Forbort, and Sherwood, are all guys that move at the deadline. Those are the types of players that move the deadline. A center who's a checking center, who can take some faceoffs, a hardworking winger who scores you goals, who's maybe on a heater but is playing the best hockey of his life, a guy who likes to throw hits, who isn't the two-way force he should be, but is still a useful depth, could be a depth winger, and a solid, although often injured, depth defenseman. I mean, all those guys are guys that get moved at the deadline. And so that was simply what Rutherford's message was. I texted him in the morning, and I saw the stuff kind of popping out on Friday or Monday night. I was, out and about. I wasn't working. And, you get up in the morning, how can I advance this story, right? How can I make this a story that we want to tell? And shot him a note, and he called me back. And so that when he calls you back that he has something to say, because he knows what the topic is. And I said, right off the top, what do you want to do here? On record, off the record? He goes, let's go on. Basically said, well, it's up to you. I said, well, let's go on the record. Let's talk about all of this. And we talked about all of this, and you saw the result.
Let me ask you about this, because this is the other piece that I didn't understand. And you just repeated it too. And I know you're smart. Let's get younger.
Yeah.
This team is the 5th to 8th youngest team in the NHL as we speak. So I take umbrage with him saying we need to get younger.
Right.
They just need to be better. Their young players need to be better young players. But actual age, there's nothing wrong with what their age is for their place in their development. They're a young team. They're just not a good team.
Yeah, and that brings us to, I think, an answer he gave that was very interesting to me, where he talked about, listen, we can talk about young players making mistakes all you want, but veterans make mistakes. Guys make mistakes. And it was funny. He didn't say exactly what you're saying, but in a way I felt like he was nodding at that. Sure, he can. You're absolutely right. He can talk about all the younger players he wants, but fundamentally his team needs to be better. Yeah. And this is who they have, to paraphrase a former Vancouver Canucks coach. This is who they have, and what they have right now hasn't been getting it done. I mean, they got it done last night. It was a very fun, entertaining game against Anaheim.
But they lose that game 3 out of 5 times, probably.
Yeah, that. Well, and that's the team they are. That's a 500 team, right? That's a coin flip team, and that's not who they want to be, and that's not a way to go forward, irrespective of the Quinn Hughes question.
Do you know whether Quinn is on board with getting younger and trading out vets and UFAs?
I don't know, and that's why I asked him the question, and the way I phrased it in the story was pretty much verbatim. The question I asked him was, this is a plan. Has this a kind of plan you've discussed with Quinn? It's the elephant in the room. You've framed it yourself. That is a topic that is always going to be there. And we saw the careful answer he gave. So
do you think that they're confident in the Quinn file?
Remind us, which one is that? That's we know the direction we're going. We know the direction.
They know the direction we're going. They know the direction they're going.
Did you perceive that to mean the direction they're going? That the direction they're going is out of Vancouver.
Whatever it is they want. I took it to mean whatever it is what is it they're looking for from us?
Right. But where do you think his optimism level is on the file right now? If you had to guess, based on his tone and everything, do you believe in the optimism that they sometimes are saying right now?
Not especially. I mean. Yeah, I've been around this long enough. This is he's been around this long enough, right? 4 coaches in five years. That's the reality.
Yeah. And
right now the team's not playing very well, and it's not clear what comes next. The coach he really liked left. I hope I'm wrong. I'm just very skeptical of where this.
And your understanding is they had to talk to him about his lower lip and his tones with the media? Have you heard anything about that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I mean, I mean, I think Jim said it last week. I think the IMAC was, listen, he like behind the scenes, he's been great, and on and on. I mean, he has to be. He's the captain. This is his team, but not being able to put out the results and not being, in the end, having to constantly will his team to win. I mean, that's fun and all, but it's also, I'm sure, exhausting. And all just the stuff, and whether it's honestly dealing with us or not, I don't know. Like, this is the team. This is where he's at, and certainly he's not projecting that he's having very much fun, and he certainly doesn't have any story to tell us, which is fine. But I mean, if you're playing for the people paying the bills, they want to hear what you're doing. That's what we do. We convey the questions and concerns that they have and try to deliver them answers. So,
do you think their home record matters? They're now 7-5-1. They're 7-5-1 on the road, Patrick. There's nothing wrong.
Fine.
There's nothing wrong with
second
that.
year in a row where you watch them play on the road and you go, "There's nothing wrong." I mean, this is all you can expect from this group of players, which, needless to say, not the most talented.
Yeah, like 23-24, which admittedly, they had some bounce to go the road, but fundamentally they were playing tight defensive hockey. They scored goals. The power play was humming. I can't remember. They won 25 home games or something that season. Like, It's the same group. It's the same group. It's the same leaders. Like, that's the thing.
Makes no sense.
Well, no. So
this should be a better defensive team, like in terms of the actual players on paper on the blue line. Now, Elias Pettersson has not played very well, but other than that, I mean, this is a capable blue line.
It's
very capable.
Capable blue line, and Adfoot, like, they are playing differently. They talked about reads. It's going to be more about reads than it is about the sort of system and the discipline of the system.
Yeah,
and that's more chaotic. It's depending on every guy making the right decision. So that's been a struggle at times.
Yeah. I asked all those Quinn questions because, of course, he was in the room with Foot and management the other day. So, I mean, just the optics, the specter of all of that is, needless to say, very interesting. If I can move on.
Yep.
Do you anticipate they will have a goaltender named Thatcher Demko or Kevin Lankinen available to them next week in Denver against the Avalanche for the final game of this trip? Or does it matter because you're drunk on Nikita Tolopilo?
I'm drunk on Nikita Tolopilo. Listen, if Lankinen shows up, I'm sure we'll see Lankinen. Demko, just on the timing of it all, like, and I was a bit confused when I first saw it. I was like, wait, what's going on? Because they have a day off on Sunday. They technically are practicing today in Anaheim. They stayed over in Anaheim, then they fly up to San Jose. What day is this? Yes.
Yeah,
practicing today in Anaheim. Right. Their day game in San Jose tomorrow, right? So they're practicing today, flying up to San Jose. Part of the story here is that it is actually reality, is that, like, San Jose has there's sort of curfews in the airports. All of these airports all have time stuff. And I suppose the ongoing insanity in the US, but anyway. So they're practicing Anaheim today, and Demko and Höglander aren't expected to join them until they get to LA on Friday night, which is after the San Jose game. They'll have, I guess, maybe an optional skate. I don't know what they're doing Saturday morning. And then, of course, they're playing the Kings, and then on a back-to-back, and then they're off. They have a scheduled day off on Sunday, so that's off, as we know, right? Like,
why fly down with no practice? It doesn't make sense.
Well, then they're practicing in El Segundo on Monday.
On the double day off.
So this is clearly they made this. I mean, I don't have this officially, as someone said, but clearly they picked this as one of their, like, let's have a little team. I imagine they're having rookie dinner on Sunday night or something like that. Because they're staying in Santa Monica. They're not actually staying at LA Live. Like, traditionally they've stayed at, there's a Ritz-Carlton or something at LA Live. So they're out. So then they're flying to Denver. So the first time they actually practice on this, well, other than today, with Demko in attendance, will be on Monday. And, like, there's no way he's practicing one game and then one day and then playing the next. Like, his first practice back. Like, he hasn't skated with anybody. It's just there's just no way that he's going to be back. So, I could see it at the back end of next week or the week after that. But realistically, for a guy that's been out for a couple of weeks and just has not been playing, and given the concern, I guess it was a groin injury, like they're not going to rush him back. So no, you're not going to see Demko on this trip. You'll see him in a week or two. In early to mid December. That's when
back to backs 5th and the 6th. December 5th to 6th. That Friday, Saturday.
It feels a bit. That still feels tight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't looked the rest of the calendar because they're in Colorado on Tuesday, right? Fly home. Then
day off, practice day, and then back to backs.
Probably, presumably, day off, practice day on Thursday, and then they'll have one more practice. Like, it's hard to imagine with that routine him actually getting into one of those games, having only had 2 practices.
And then they have a 2-game week after that, so they could ostensibly kick this can to New Jersey on December the 14th. They only play 5-6 games between now and then. I
think realistically that's what you're looking at. That's what you're looking at is that second week of December is when it's actually he'll likely be back.
I think even goaltending coaches got bored listening to you two map this out over the next 3 weeks. I threw you a juicy fastball there on Tolopilo, and we turned it into let's map the goaltending for the better part of 3 weeks.
Tolopilo is a great story. He is a question now. I think when they brought him into, or Ian Clark brought him in 2 years ago, it was clear how excited he was on this prospect. Right, this is a giant guy with lots of raw material to work with. If you wish to repeat this one again, Matthew, we could say that the clay is wet. Moist. Could go with ghost again.
I would prefer not to use that metaphor. He's a bit of a wild goaltender. That was not like the quietest. That wasn't the quietest performance I've seen in between the pipes.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
The whole game was street hockey.
Oh my God! But listen, he made 38 saves. In a game where absolute chaos. How much fun are the Anaheim Ducks?
Oh. God bless the Anaheim Ducks and Joel Quenneville for if that's how they play on a nightly basis, they are the best show in hockey. And let's hope whatever they do this year leads to winning, because I want copycats of the Anaheim Ducks in the way that was the most fun I've had watching a Canucks regular season game. And I don't remember when. That was. Even if somehow they collapse at the end and they lose this game in regulation, Patrick, that is 2.5 hours well spent in front of your television.
And the memo, again, back to we need to get younger. I think most people would consider the Anaheim Ducks a quote-unquote young team, right?
Well, yeah, and that's what I wrote this morning, because this is the way forward.
Michael Granlund, Chris Kreider, Alex Killorn, Frank Vetrano, Ryan Strome, Ross, they've got a ton of 30-year-olds.
Yeah.
So
but they got a superstar 20-year-old center. That Carlson kid is the real McCoy. I was skeptical when they took him over Fantilli, but holy cow, is he a player?
I thought Seneca was great too.
Well, Seneca is terrific too.
Fred Terry reminds me. I mentioned this a little more. That how there was some in the COVID season. I know there were some conversations between the Canucks and the Ducks about that. I remember hearing about that. I coulda, woulda, shoulda. I think the Ducks in the end, because they really loved the player, but they were getting frustrated. And anyway, there was a near miss there, or a near hit with the Canucks, but it didn't.
Wow,
happen, so.
Great stuff. Have a good weekend, okay? And we'll catch up next week.
See you guys.